for a non-religious person like me, it's actually one of a kind experience to visit so many churches, because here in Northern Cyprus they represent something more. Keep your social distance. That's social distance. Don't lick the camera. Have a look at my room. I do feel blessed with this little desk here in order to do all the edits that you lot are watching. Some pretty decent toilet. This thing here. So, yeah. Now the only reason I'm filming this is because I paid some money for this room, and where we are going next, I paid a similar amount of money, just for comparison. Well, the central square of Nicosia has benches like surfing boards. Look at this. So this is the design, basically, of the entire fortification of Nicosia. And you can hear the bell from the distance from the church, while at the same time here we have the mosque. Now let me share with you, this is not my first time in Cyprus. I was here for about 10 months, some 18 years ago, man, can you believe that? Back then I was a soldier for the Greek army, so I was allocated here in Cyprus. In case you didn't know, Greek army is obligatory for us. For me at least, there wasn't a means to escape it, so yeah, there I was. And Cyprus, man, has an immediate effect, let me tell you. Not only do we land here and we get to see this huge Turkish Cypriot flag on the mountain, which is there to provoke the eerie feeling of Europe's last divided capital. And every time we would take a free day or some free hours outside of the military base, I would come down here. This is very close to the Green Line, you know, to the buffer zone of the United Nations. I mean, the feeling was eerie, man. Now, maybe because I'm older, who knows, it feels a little bit different. It feels the heaviness of the thing is away. This whole street was semi-abandoned and with an extremely dark and heavy feeling, man. Probably this is why my young soul found it so fascinating. Every time we were going out of the base was the instructions and the advices of the seniors. Stuff like, don't go there, they will shoot you. I mean, army, man. And bloody hell, it's heavy. And don't get me wrong, I bet it's exactly the same and even more with the army of the other side. For someone like me who absolutely detests crowds, except at the stadium, this is a blessing. This car annoys me the hell. Look at it. What is that, man? Looks like it's about to fall. Interesting. This building here is packed with installations. Check it out. So we are basically here. Area under Turkish occupation. Right. So let's have a seat to drink a coffee before we go beyond the border to the Turkish Cypriot side. Temporary municipality of Kyrenia. Oh, look at this, man. So this is the coffee shop that I was talking about. The bad thing is that it's closed, probably because it's Sunday. Do you remember Ermou Street that we saw in the morning? This whole street was semi-abandoned. So we are exactly on the other side of that street. So it's behind these buildings. I mean, there is a short buffer zone. It's kind of wild, come to think of it, right? The distance is something like 5 minutes, even less. and I had to show my passport twice. It is wild. Lefkosia, Nicosia. Would you like to visit this place at night? It's barely standing, man. It has some fortifications. So that it doesn't collapse. What a feast! Look at this. Let me show you this. I mean, this is this is close to crazy. Look at these prices. Unleaded, 36.4. 36.4 Turkish lira means less than €1. They are great. Alright, so let me show you the room here, man, because this room basically cost the same amount of money in euro like the other one you saw earlier. Check this out. I mean, the hotel where I was staying in the southern part of Nicosia was basically the cheapest I could find in the center. Look at this breakfast, man. Like, oh wow. Well, hello. Hello. We are going to find a bus to go to Kyrenia. Kyrenia is called Girne in the Turkish language. Now, during the army days, there was, of course, a lot of contact with Greek Cypriot soldiers. The best way to start a conversation between men is about football. So, that was me, waving the flag and announcing everybody that I support AEK Athens. And that was the bloody moment that I realized how radicalized is Cypriot football, man. I mean, there were groups of Greek Cypriots absolutely detesting each other. And not only that, but there was a certain group that was expressing hate towards me. Not because I did anything to them, but for the simple fact that I was from mainland Greece. I found it very difficult to accept and understand why these young people were so hostile, basically. Especially those people who, I mean, we were speaking the same language. I always knew about the role Greece played against the government of the Republic of Cyprus. I knew about all that. What I hadn't realized was how deep the trauma was. This is one of the main reasons why I'm doing this video, man. Let's investigate. Welcome to Kyrenia, everybody. Girne, as it's called nowadays. Oh wow, check it out. First thing we find is a church. Looks good, doesn't it? Check out Jesus. There is absolutely no way in. Everything's locked. Ancient harbor, man. Damn right it's ancient. So Kyrenia, Girne, was founded sometime around 1300 BCE by my fellow Greeks from northern Peloponnese. They were the Greeks that were returning from the Trojan Wars. Imagine that. You just won a war hiding inside a wooden horse. And what you do after? You go to the islands. That's the life, man. I was under the impression that this was built by the Venetians, but it's actually not. It was built by the Romans. In the early Byzantine period, the Venetians kind of restored it to its former glory. Right over there, across the horizon, is Turkey. And 4 or 5 kilometers that way, on the 20th of July in 1974, the fleet of the Turkish army was spotted on the horizon.
A couple of days earlier, the Greek army in Cyprus, following orders from Colonel Ioannidis of the Greek junta in Athens, realized a coup d'etat against the president of Cyprus, Archbishop Makarios.
and all hell broke loose. Despite the fact that back then I couldn't understand why all this animosity against me by some of my fellow Cypriot soldiers, it was exactly because of that. Because these boys have been actually brought up with the concept that the bloody Greeks were at fault for causing the Turkish invasion of Cyprus. Close to 70% of the population of Kyrenia back then was Greek Cypriot. And as you can imagine, the moment the Turkish army entered the city, almost all of them fled. A very small number stayed and tried to create some sort of resistance, but they were captured and sent to an abbey, which we will try to visit tomorrow. As for the empty city, it was Turkish Cypriots from the southern part of the island and mainland Turkey that settled here. So today's population of Girne is a mixture between those two. Check out the mountains back in the distance, man, and this very dramatic sky. This is the Pentadactylo mountain behind. And it's on the other side of that the Turkish Cypriot army painted this huge flag just to irritate everybody on the other side. Oh wow, check it out, we have light. Are those bullet holes, man? Could very well be, you know. If I'm not mistaken, this is the insignia of the Lusignan rulers of the island. You see, besides everybody else that colonized the island, we also had the Crusaders. And part of them were the Lusignan family from France. And you can see their signs of presence all over the place. What is absolutely amazing is how old these look. This here and this here are not from the same era. But yours truly is limited in his knowledge. Archangel Michael. Let's see. Is it doable? No, it's not. So far, we cannot enter the various churches, which is a pity. Check out all these villas, man. This is 20-25 minutes from where we were before. I did 40. These bloody Google Maps, man. I mean, I cannot believe this. I kept arriving to military bases. But flipping hell, man. I mean, Google, I work for you. I mean, the nerve. It's a beautiful place, though.
Many of the Greek Cypriot prisoners were transported and held here in the Bellapais abbey. Decades later, there are still efforts for exhumations in search of missing persons from that era.
What a place. What a place. Now, what I realized is that we haven't really talked about the elephant in the room, man. I mean, because there is one, actually two elephants. One is the United States of America, and the second one is the Soviet Union. Now, picture this out. It is the 50s. The British Empire falls apart. The slight matter of the Cold War will play its role in everything that happens in Cyprus. Everything that the two populations would wish would go through the filter of what benefits NATO or the Soviet Union. Look at this castle, man. St. Hilarion Castle. Sounds promising.
So there you have it, the castle of San Hilarion, built by the Byzantines in the 11th century to overview the area between Kyrenia and Nicosia. The Lusignans used it for the same reason until finally the Venetians that decided to dismantle it for economic reasons.
The other churches that I have seen so far, all of them closed. This one is open. Of course, this is a ruin. And that down there is Kyrenia, man. What about this tree, man? This is the money tree. Look at it. You have coins. And a loose one. And somebody explained to me this phenomenon. Like, why? Nemutlu turcum diene. I've seen this written all over the place. Apparently, it's a phrase by Kemal Atatürk, praising the pride of being a Turk. But I mean, look at this, painting the mountain, man. Painting the mountain shows a great deal about basically you, who you are as a person. I mean, if this was a Greek flag, I would be fuming equally. Anyway, people are weird sometimes. We are still on the mountain. I discovered this. I was looking at the map and I saw the existence of this church here. Let's see if we can have a look at the monastery. I'm very curious about it. For me, knowing the history of the place, it's a very interesting feeling. It's kind of weird and eerie at the same time to actually see these buildings and whenever possible look inside. I think it will be possible. Let's have a look. And I repeat, this transcends the fact that I'm not a religious person. Wow. Add me, please, Little Ferner. Let's all add Little Ferner. Let's not. I mean, I haven't checked what Little Ferner is. Whoa. So people have written with spray up there. Right. I think even this condition speaks about the history and everything that's been going on between these two populations.
There is a little bit of haze, but you can see the tall buildings down in the distance. That is Nicosia, that is the Greek Cypriot part of Nicosia.
During the 50s, Makarios is still part of the game. He still supports the idea of union with Greece, and he totally opposes any sort of idea of Taksim, the division of the island that the majority of the Turkish Cypriots wanted. Now, from 1960 onwards, Cyprus was independent. Makarios was the president of the newly formed country. During 1960 and 1963, violence erupted. And in all honesty, it was to be expected. I mean, first of all, the constitution. Second of all these years with the Cyprus emergency, that hatred was cultivated. You remember what we talked about, how the Brits have this amazing talent to divide and conquer. I mean, this place, man, reminds me of Crete like no other. Look at what Google is doing to me, man. I mean, is it really this? Is it really this road I want to be on? All right. I think this is a perfect spot to show you around the touristic development of this part of Cyprus. This is the part on the north, eastern of Kyrenia, Girne, and just before you enter the peninsula. As you can probably hear, there is obvious development. You have swimming pools, you have snooker. Check it out, man. Check all this area. Free to be developed. Let's see. Let's have a look at the beach. Check out the beach, man. Wow. Talking about virgin. The other side is already developed. Kind of. What a water, man. Look at this insane horizon. The usual stuff. Down there, can you see that? Well, now you can. Down there, people doing donuts. And that's the horizon for you. Bloody hell, what a beauty. Now, in case you are noticing a slight sarcastic mood on my words, it is a little bit sarcastic because I have seen this shit happening to Crete, man, to my island. And it's ugly, man. I mean, I can't lie, it's ugly. Now, concerning that over there, what sold me was the snooker table.
When is it going to finish so that we come and play some snooker?
Like Ronnie O'Sullivan. The Greek Ronnie O'Sullivan. I do have the hair somewhere. Hilltown. Yeah, baby, construction everywhere. In the meantime, this is where I have to walk. Now, my accommodation is one of those white buildings there.
And this is how we go from there to back there, where the mini market is.
Now, the good thing is that the drivers are careful. At least we hope so. Let's see if this guy is going to kill me. Probably not. Now, I walked the 300 meters to the mini market for two reasons. First of all, it was advertised that it's very close, and it is. The only bad thing is that you need to walk through the traffic. The beach is advertised that it's 400 meters, which is also true, not including the vertical drop-off. But still, it's close. What's absolutely mesmerizing to me is the fact that I actually booked this apartment because it was extremely cheap. I mean, it was something like 40 euros per night, only to wake up moments later after I had unfortunately paid, and it was 90 because taxes. Can you believe that? 40 euros original price, 90 with taxes. There's also a dog. Look at him. Look at this doggo living in chaos. Close the door because it's cold. Now, the thing itself is gorgeous. I mean, it's an apartment, you know? And normally I wouldn't complain, not at all. But double price with the taxes, that was insane, man. I mean, the idiot in me did not see it coming. I stumbled upon this on the map. This is called the Holy Triad Basilica.
Look at this sensational mosaic, man.
This Holy Triad Basilica is an early Christian one. Can you believe that? It's from the 4th or 5th century, something like that. And it has been discovered back in the 40s. So no wonder it's so amazingly freshly conserved. And that part over there is actually rounded. So that's the place where the altar must have been. And you can actually see this Check out this corridor. Whoa. Look at this altar. Very interesting that people come every once in a while to light this candle. Is this a good thumbnail? Birds having a nest and making a lot of noise. Emperor Justinian built a big church in Istanbul, in Constantinople, in the name of this particular saint, Saint Thyrsos. I found it amazing that the icons, or some of them, were preserved. What the fuck? What is this? Azure Bay Beach Lounge. Looks very loungy. You're joking, man. Keep your social distance. That's social distance. Nargile Evi. I'm not gonna lie, man. I mean, these things have a specific charm, if you wanna call it that. This is memory. Even if it's a memory, the one of mass tourism, that I don't particularly like. Memory and nature. Now, as I said the other day, for a non-religious person like me, it's actually one of a kind experience to visit so many churches, because here in Northern Cyprus they represent something more, you know? They represent part of that memory, you know? The Greek Cypriot memory. And religion, whether I like it or not, is part of this. So we still have an altar and an icon with Jesus and a couple of candles. And what's that? Yo. Well, it's definitely something. It's probably storage room. I don't know if you can see anything. Yeah, storage. Let's get out. I mean, thank God we found this this place here. This is next to the church, and they have breakfast. This is hummus, jajik, some sort of thing, and this is couscous. Pretty good, isn't it? So the guy at the tavern told me that where I'm heading now, there is a strong chance to meet free roaming donkeys, man. Can you believe that? At the tip of the Karpas Peninsula. Oh. Oh my God, he's fast. Yo. Don't lick the camera. Ah, the hell. That was fast. Two of them. Let's see, I will cut this in half. Let's feed the beast outside of the car. Check them out. We have moments of desperation. Okay, so first, you. Wake up. You. Look at them. Is this a good thumbnail? So we basically made the mistake to feed them, and now I can't escape. Let's do our best. They're following. Look at them, man. I mean, what a spectacle. They used to be domesticated, now they are not anymore, since the 70s, I think. They were basically left to roam free, by the farmers, which farmers did not need them anymore because they had the tractor. And this is the situation now. Donkeys eating carton. What a thing. And a lot of shitties. Bloody hell, he actually does eat that. Is it tasty, man? Check them out, they're coming back. That's right, bye-bye. See you later. They also have the tendency to invade the local farmers' land. And this has forced, basically, the farmers to put barbed wire everywhere. You're not allowed, however, to kill them. There is law protecting them. So the monastery is down there. But this area here, oh my God. Don't be mad. I'm leaving. He looks fuming. Let's see if he lets me get in. I don't want to describe to you how it smells in here. A very old fish smell. So the monastery is under construction or reconstruction. Let's have a look at the sea. No entry here. Right. Restorating Apostle Andreas Monastery. Look at them, man. They are still they are still around the bloody car. Go. What are they doing, man? Are they leaking the car? Put this here, and there was light. Check out this room, man. Wow. We even have balcony. 65 euros, man. I mean, this place is still cheaper than than that hole that I stayed in the southern part of Nicosia. And I haven't showed you yet what's outside. Welcome to Famagusta, or Gazimagusa as the locals call it nowadays. Are you joking me, man? Look at this place. Let me grab some distance. Look at this place. Sitting outside of the hotel. And the way it looks. I mean, this is the stuff of cinema. Built in a typical French Gothic style of Lusignans. Ooh. And again, it's the proximity of the thing. It's the fact that, first of all, there's an open gate. And second of all, you can come here, have a beer, have your meal, touch the building materials under the fresco. Bloody hell, look at this fresco. Now, St. George here was built in the 1300s, and it used to be an Orthodox church, despite the fact that it was built by the Lusignan French. Now, back in the day, it was a measure of status of a place to have as many churches as possible. And Famagusta was, once upon a time, the richest city in the world.
So no wonder that they had more than 300 churches.
That's why they have so many, man. I mean, look at this one. This is the main cathedral of the city. It became a mosque after the Ottomans took over Famagusta. I mean, if you see up there, the minaret was probably built a lot later than the original construction of the church itself. But look at the detail. Look at this, man. So this is for the Ramadan, to host a dinner after the sunset. I find appropriating quite fascinating, to be honest. It's such a common practice. In Christianity, it also happened quite a lot. I mean, a lot of Christian churches were basically ancient Greek temples that were appropriated and transformed into churches. Let's go down to the main wall, man. I mean, this wall was probably the reason that it took a year and a half almost for the Ottomans to take over the city from the Venetians. Is this yet another church, man? Probably is, you know. What's left of it? Let's find the stairs. Now, so far Famagusta has been a gem, man. I mean, for someone like me who absolutely loves history with all its perks, you know, this is the thing. This here. All right, we are on it. This is what I mean by we are on it. Look at the drop-off. The Famagusta port. Look at this forgotten Byzantine beauty here. If we peek through the window, it's basically storage, isn't it? Well, hello. So despite the lion, this was also built by the Lusignans. The Venetians, however, did fortify it, despite the fact that it didn't do them much good at the end. Check out the mighty port of Famagusta, man. For the Brits, this port was probably of less importance than the one in Larnaca, but nevertheless an important one, especially with the Brits controlling Suez. They needed as many ports as they could find. Is this the coolest parking lot ever, or what? And behind it is another church, man. Can you believe that? What happened to you, love?